Welcome to the Divine Masculine reading at 108 gate. Let's get straight into this as the energies are just pulsating, ready to communicate, ready to transform things, ready to take responsibility, ready to pass on some responsibilities. Really empowered vibe going on at the moment. So let's go. Grounding. This came up in one of the readings yesterday. Grounding, understanding where one is in relation to where one is heading, wanting to go somewhere, wanting to achieve something, wanting to be something, and understanding that the best way for you to do that is to understand where you are now, so that you can track the process, you can plan the process efficiently and effectively. If you're doing it effectively and efficiently, even more effectively and efficiently. As I said that, I felt that there's a divide in the group. There's a divide in who this is going to be for. So there's those who are in denial of what they've actually got to do, and they're holding themselves back. They're holding themselves back because the denial is basically the thing that has to be unlocked to allow the true incident, the true experience, the true situation to be shown and revealed. So optimism, if you're being overly optimistic, unrealistically optimistic, is not going to help you. If you're being unrealistically pessimistic, is also not going to help you. So getting that fine line of optimism is actually going to be a practical skill that's going to enhance your way of moving forward. It's going to benefit you in the long term because you're going to have a realistic perspective. So what I mean by that is it allows for the ability to have an understanding of there is a solution possible, there is something available to utilize, but not going into that fake kind of spiritual kind of thing, like everything's going to be fluffy, everything's going to work out fine, everything's going to be so hunky-dory, because it just seems like you're kind of blocking the actual realization of what's happening from coming in. So yes, it can work out. Yes, it has the opportunity to work out. But in this moment right now, it's not working out. In this moment right now, it's not feeling easy. It's not feeling comfortable. Therefore, the over-optimistic kind of like, everything's going to be fine, it ain't going to work. Everything's going to be crap. It ain't going to work. So having that middle ground of grounding into where you are right now, grounding in the awareness more so of where you are right now, being realistically optimistic, right? So an example of that would be, I need to build a wall by next Tuesday. Right now, all I have is 50 bricks and some cement. I don't have enough bricks. So being realistic, right, what can I do in a optimistic perspective? Hopefully there will be somewhere that I can buy some more bricks from, or I can get some more bricks from and get some more concrete. Let's start looking for that and let's see if I can find it. If you be over optimistic and say, that's it, I've done the wall, fantastic, it's like, well, you're not going to take the initiative to take the next steps to get some more bricks. I've got 50 bricks, I'll make a wall out of that. It ain't going to work. So then the over pessimistic being, I've only got 50 bricks and I can't build a wall, therefore give up. That ain't going to work either. So finding that middle ground to make sure that you're bringing the correct force, information, wisdom, intelligence, intuition and instinct forward to make sure that you know what to say goodbye to and what you need to bring in more of. So bringing in that realistic optimism, really strong, really fruity and Shazammy, I don't know how to explain it. Shazam, like sparkling, it's magical, because if you're realistic and you're having a kind of having that balanced view of things, you're going to be practical in a dignified manner. You're going to be solving certain problems or perceived problems. You're going to find solutions that much simpler and easier. Right. Oh, these are stuck. I don't even know if they want to come out or if they're just pulling at me. That's going to be interesting to see what's there. I want to leave that there for now and get some on the other side. Okay, this is definitely coming. So Four of Swords, taking that time to rest, taking that time to do something. So maybe you're working on something and you've been trying to get that wall up. That's just an example. You're trying to build a wall, you're trying to build something, and it's just like, well, this is taking forever. Once you get to a certain milestone, and the reason I'm saying this is because if it's a long-term plan, it's a long-term journey to get to something or to achieve something, then it's a matter of making sure that in the interim, you're taking those short breaks, you're taking those short times to say, right, I've got these 20 milestones to achieve. When I've got to this milestone, I'm going to give myself the afternoon off, not worrying about it, not concerned about it, not Googling what can I do next, like this, and you're just completely off in a different direction to give it some time to breathe and give it some time to mature without your focus on it. So then from here, having time to rest and making sure that you are also rejuvenating is going to be worthwhile. Rah. Okay, now I know why it was stuck. 8 of Swords with 6 swords. So 8 of Swords is usually when we are stuck in a I love it when the cards just talk so accurately. When you're stuck in a situation that you're sometimes putting yourself in, if you're being over optimistic and being over optimistic for other people too, like it's not sweet and kind and whatever else. It just shows your naivety and being gullible. So what I mean by that is, that sounds really harsh, but it's kind of got to the point of like, we're all adults. Well, we should be all adults. If there's any children watching, I don't think you should be watching this, but getting to that emotional maturity, that level of emotional maturity that's like, you can't just keep saying, oh, you'll get through it, oh, you'll do it. It's like, well, be realistic and be a helpful sibling, be a helpful person, be a helpful colleague, be a helpful friend, whatever. It's like, right, so you're saying that you're worried about not achieving this or not achieving that, and then going in and saying, don't worry, you'll do it. Don't worry, you can do these. It's like, well, actually, maybe they have got a legit reason as to why they're worrying. So therefore, why not be more useful as a colleague, as a friend, as a sibling, as a whatever it is, a neighbour, and say, well, what is it that you're actually worried about? What is it that you're actually concerned about? Therefore, they may actually say, you know what, I haven't actually got enough to do this, I haven't got the time to complete that. They may have a legitimate reason to feel like they're not going to do something, or they're feeling a bit down, or they're feeling a bit whatever. That may be more constructive, more realistic, grounded than being hyper optimistic and just put them in the spin of like, yeah, everything should be good, because then you're actually putting them in a false sense of security too, which you're going to carry the karmic thing of if you're not careful. Therefore, I'd suggest you just be grounded, not only just for yourself, but for others too. If you're having those conversations, be realistic and optimistic for them too, not just over optimistic for the sake of what. Why do you even do that? I don't know who it is that's, it does feel like there's split. There's a group that doesn't do that, and there's a group that does do that. The group that does do that, you're gonna give yourself so much empowerment by just being realistic and optimistic, as opposed to overly pessimistic or overly optimistic. So a lot of those things may have got you. This is where the denial of certain things may have come in. Some of those over optimistic or over pessimistic perspectives and views may have been the things that got you into certain situations, or you may be walking yourself right into some certain situations that you're going to be careful about, because you might not be able to get out of once you get into. Be brave, be bold, be optimistic in a realistic manner, be grounded in a very realistic manner, be grounded in now, in this moment, currently, as realistic and optimistic as you can be, not overly optimistic, not overly pessimistic. It felt like I was repeating the message over and over and over again, because it really needs to be knocked in for some who already get it and totally understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. Then for you, it's literally a matter of reinforcing it with more conviction, with more faith and trust in your process, and making sure that anyone who brings that overly optimistic thing or overly pessimistic thing to you, that you can find a loving way to bring it down. You can find a loving way to say, whoa, tiger, you don't need to bring that kind of kerfuffle here. Don't need it. It's not really a realistic perspective, is it? It's not really what's actually happening in the situation, is it? And then just letting them sit with it. You don't have to point out why it's not realistic or why it's not pessimistic or optimistic, whatever it is. It's just literally just letting them sit with, that's not how I am doing things. It's not how I see things or how I feel I should approach this, because that may work for you, it doesn't work for me. Just doing it gently, doing it lovingly, but making sure that you are doing it, because sometimes when people come in with that boppity kind of over-optimistic vibe, it's just not helpful to anyone or anything, and I don't think they understand that. So, swords. Practically actually putting into action what we are learning, practically doing those things, what we need to be doing. So bringing in the where we need to, bringing in the rest here where we need to, stopping ourselves from having the habits of just going like the Duracell bunny. We're not a Duracell bunny, because therefore when you do that and we have this more realistic optimism, we'll see where the foundation is, we'll feel where the foundation is, and we'll, by resting, have that energy of making sure that we've done what we need to do to rejuvenate. So the Four of Swords usually has the someone's come back from battle and that they're needing that resting period, that resting thing. This may be where you need to rest from, because this alone is this alignment, this realignment, this awareness of this necessary alignment is exhausting on its own, because there's so much emotional stuff that's entangled with it. There's so much that you have to carry when you're working with others or you're doing certain things with others, and they're in an either pessimistic view and you have to bring them up, or they're too optimistic and you have to kind of bring them aligned with that. It's exhausting, because then they can also put you out in a spin with certain things which you don't want to be doing. You really want to keep it grounded, really want to keep it succinct, you want to keep it effective, efficient, and working to the full potential. With a realistic perspective, you can't pretend that something's there if it's not. You can't pretend something's not there if it is. The difference, therefore, is seeing what problem is there when it's not, and what thing isn't there when it actually is. Therefore, you can decide, right, this needs to go. I didn't see this as a problem before because I was being overly optimistic. Now I need to deal with it, and it's got worse. Need to sort it out. And then the opposite too pessimistic, didn't see the solution. Now I've got to actually pick myself up and be a bit more hopeful. Look, all of a sudden the resources have appeared. Look, all of a sudden that problem's disappeared. It's getting that balance. Eight of Swords, what is self-inflicted and what has been taken on from others, and what is keeping you stuck now from moving forward. Be honest with yourself, because this is an amazing opportunity to get yourself out of this entanglement, out of this situation that not possibly the most ideal to be stuck in. So with the Six of Swords, it just feels like be ready, be aware. Because we don't quite know what's going to be happening when we are sorting this out, when we are untangling ourselves from this. I'm seeing like a booby trap kind of thing. It's like, yes, you think you've got just the 8 swords, but we don't know, booby trap wise, what else is lined up to throw us off our path, to throw us off our game, to throw us off our focus. Therefore, when you're doing this, don't be surprised if certain things just come out of the blue from nowhere. It's like, what is that even about? Where was that even hiding? Therefore, bring yourself back to realistic optimism. What's the solution required for this? Do I have the resources required for this? How do I do this in the best way possible, quickly and effectively and efficiently? And now seeing this bottom sword here is crumbling. I didn't see it crumbling before, so it's actually, as you go down, you see them crumbling. So working on it, working on your defences, healthy defence mechanisms. Maybe you're still holding on to some unhealthy mechanisms of defence. Letting go of those, because feeling first into the safety of a situation. Is it safe to let go of? Acknowledging that threat's not there anymore, or is that threat there still? And if that threat is still there, what are you going to do to release it, or remove it, or clear it, or build up a different new defence that's actually going to be productive? You can defend yourself and still be productive, but you can also be defending yourself and be stuck. Therefore, changing, shifting, getting creative. Use your creativity in this. Use your intelligence. Use your emotional well-being. Use all that work you have done to improve yourself, to take you to a different headspace, a different mind space, a different intelligence with what you're dealing with. You've got it right there. So you've got the 10 of Cups. Let's make sure this is on here. Sorry, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups with 3 broken. You've got 6 that are still there. Like, these are brittle. It's like they're brittle and they're not useful as a sword anymore. They're broken. They're not useful as a cup anymore. Who knows? Maybe you can melt certain things if it's a particular kind of material and you've got the necessary required equipment. You might be able to melt it. Reforge the swords. Who knows? I don't know. What can you do? Alchemize it. What can you make out of something that it's broken? It's not useful now. Get that realistic optimism and have another look at it. 3 of Coins. Investing. This side over here is really looking forward to things working out, things having gone through this process, making sure you rest properly, making sure you're focused on the foundation that you want to build, that you can build, that is there available for you to have. And you've got the 3 coins, investing, you've got collaboration, you've got so much going for you in that space. This space, you've got to sort that out first. Sort it out. The more you sort that out and that is cleared away, the more this can come in and you have more of that which you are wanting, that which you need, proper support, all that stuff. And just for good measure, this one is wanting to show up again. Hermit, making sure you're doing this within yourself first. Don't spread your muck on others. I said it in the past video and I'm going to say it again. If you have rubbish in the bin, you usually put it out so it can be taken away, or you take it to the tip, you take it to be appropriately disposed of. Do not take that rubbish and go splattering it in other people's metaphorical gardens or energetic gardens. Keep the rubbish tied up so it can be disposed of properly. Even if it's an incinerator, I don't know, we have local places that have incinerators that take the rubbish to incinerator, whatever it is. Either way, don't spread the muck on someone else. Keep it within yourself. Work on it within yourself. There's certain things that may need processing with others, but it's not necessarily the inner mechanisms or the inner mechanics of your thoughts and your beliefs and things like that. It's more to do with right now how you emotionally respond to people, how you practically respond to people, how you apply yourself to certain situations. That's where you're working from and where you're working for right now. So that's a fantastic reading. I hope you can see the value of that, because if you're going towards this way and sorting this stuff out, you're onto a winner. You've got loads to be playing with and utilising. So in respect to realistic optimism, peace and love.